All right, let's start this thing.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. Boom.
Drinking coffee. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I wanted to have this meeting with Marisa Dzintars and David Wingert. David's the director of Love at First Bite, and Marisa is a writer and an actress and a main character, and like the star of Love at First Bite.
We are gathered here today.
Joey, let's just get to the important parts.
Are you sure you don't want me to take as long as possible so you know you're making the right decision?
Dude, I'm standing right here.
Well, I'll let your father explain.
My boys, if you're seeing this, one of you is getting married. Congratulations, Chaz or Milton.
Sorry, Milton.
Your mother and I have agreed that the first of you to get married, we are gifting you your childhood home.
Congratulations, Chaz.
No.
I got the best mom and dead dad. I have nowhere to live.
Sucks.
Oh my God, Kate, this is gonna be your new house.
What is this?
If you don't like it, you should have come to the fitting.
I couldn't come to one fitting, and this is what you picked out for me?
I want to marry you, Scarlett.
I want to marry you, Milton.
And we both want the house.
Desperately. Just what do you think you're trying to pull on my wedding day?
Are you mad?
Everyone, I'd like to re-invite you to the front yard. Everyone, I'd like to re-invite you back to the backyard.
If you want my definition of love, it's whenever you die and you go on and hunt your lover while they're making some pottery.
Specific.
Or it's whenever you sell your voice to an evil sea witch just so you can get some time on land for a hunky sailor.
Okay.
Chaz, what are you doing?
Yo, you ruined my wife's wedding. Now I'm gonna ruin yours.
You're gonna win!
This house rule is driving me mad.
Where's Chaz? He needs to see this.
Is there anyone here who's ordainable?
You had a problem, and I took care of that problem. Chaz, that's not me!
I love a good old-fashioned marriage, y'all.
Take Chaff,
Chaz.
who we all know does not deserve to be where he's standing today.
But yeah, I wanted to pretty much do this to explain how to make a feature film, start to finish. How this process started, how this movie came to be. You know, it's now one of the top 5 wedding comedies of all time. So
Certified.
yeah, yeah. So it's like Us, Wedding Crashers, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and everything else after that doesn't matter.
Can't even name another example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very exclusive.
Yeah. So, yeah, Love at First Bite. I mean, do you guys want to say the log line, or do you want to talk about what it's about? I feel like I'm going to be talking a lot because I know this project kind of started with me. So, who else wants to take the lead for a second?
Well, you can talk about how like the story came to be. I forget if you wrote the script or like your pilot version, or you had the title first. Which came first?
Ooh, which Duncan? I think the idea for the pilot came first, and as I was writing the pilot, I was in the middle of Act 2. That's when the title came to be. Because the title it was just like the title's never changed, which is surprising.
Mhm.
If you make a movie, that's a big thing. We should tell people, like, when you make a movie, sometimes the title changes a lot, especially when it's done. I worked for a production company where they would finish a movie and then they would put these gigantic poster boards in the kitchen with what the movie was about, and they'd tell people, write what you think the name of the movie should be. And changed so much from the script. But yeah, I think this Love at First Bite came when I put up the pilot. Yeah, and I wrote the TV pilot in 2019, and I presented it at Deadline Junkies, which is how we all know each other. Marisa and I were on Wednesdays, Dave was on Mondays, and then we all went to Tuesdays for a while. Deadline Junkies are writing an acting group, which has so many actors in here. By the way, you guys, feel free to jump in and interrupt me whenever, because I don't want to be talking the whole time.
We like me and Marisa just say nothing this whole time.
Or just like type words.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you I can clearly explain what Deadline Junkies is, where it's a screenwriters group in LA. There's 5, I think it got up to 5 nights a week, 4 or 5 nights, where writers will put up 1 act of a movie or 1 episode of a TV show, and it is a table read. So actors come in and do the read, and other writers will then give notes. So it's a big network, a big community in Los Angeles to workshop scripts.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Great job. Yeah.
If
So
you,
yeah. Yeah. So I did Deadline Junkies since 2010. And I don't really know when I put Love at First Bite up. I know it was 2019, but I don't know what month it was. Put up the pilot. Marissa, you must have been there.
the first part I read for in Love at First Bite was Gammy Agnes.
Okay.
I remember, yeah, I was there in 2019 when he brought that up, and I remember that. Like, you had that script for a little while, but that was the first time I heard it, and that was the first time I think a lot of the actors who ended up being in the movie heard it. And that was also when we were getting the idea of like instead of having to be a pilot, having to be a movie instead. I remember that was something we talked about a lot that night.
Yeah, because like I got that note. It was like this should be a movie instead. So and yeah, well, I guess we'll talk about how it became a movie because I don't think it would have became a movie without Christmas Staycation. So Christmas Staycation happened because of the pandemic. Do you guys want to give a log line of Christmas Staycation?
Yeah, it's Christmas in 2020. I mean, it's Christmas on Zoom.
You did tell them that we can't come home for Christmas this year, right?
Not exactly.
Oh my God, it's Christmas Eve.
Why didn't you two tell me you're not going back home for Christmas?
There's got to be a way that we can be together without actually being together.
We should throw Dad a Zoom Christmas party.
Plus with our last name being Gloomgardy, it'll be a Gloomgardy Zoom party.
What's who's a huh? What?
Shenanigans happen, and it's like a variety show of like different family interactions and just crazy dynamics between family members. Marisa played a couple characters in it.
Also a Gammy Agnes type character.
Yeah, Gammy Agnes type character. There's a lot of like character types in that movie that I think like resonated a lot with Love at First Spite as well. Because both movies deal a lot with just like quirky family member characters, all centered around some major event, like in this case a holiday, but with Love at First Spite, obviously a wedding, 2 weddings.
Yeah, yes, it's very much part of kind of the inception of the Jordan verse was Christmas Staycation, the feature. You wrote it in 2020 and then got it in the market to be in 2020. And David, you helped with the production of that too, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess I was technically an assistant director, but it was definitely an interesting production because we did it all over Zoom. We were like practicing how to like, pin people on Zoom because Zoom was still fairly new. So like we were doing a lot of stuff that I'm sure everyone knows how to do now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were like learning how to like pin people and like record certain things. And I remember there's one night where like Jordan, you were off filming one scene. I was off filming another scene, like in another room or something like that. I just remember like I was filming something and you were filming something. And it was just like we literally filmed like 25% of the movie in like one afternoon.
Like second unit.
Yeah, exactly. Second unit, but it was still in like in the breakout room on Zoom. It was definitely interesting. But it definitely like with that and Love at First Bite, I remember like we would going into like the Jordan verse, which Marisa mentioned, which I think is the greatest, most accurate term for these types of movies. But Jordan would always like write scripts that were like it was like an ensemble comedy for a lot of his scripts, and I feel like that especially worked for Deadline Junkies because we wanted to like cast as many of it's a whole network of like friends of ours who are writers and actors, so we wanted to like get as many of our friends into these movies as we could, which I think is like part of the charm of like both of those movies is just there's just so many characters to keep track of. And I remember I was like talking to a friend of mine about Love at First Bite like a couple months ago, and he said that was like easily his favorite part of that movie was just how many characters there are and like how we managed to like keep track of all of them and juggle all of them around, which I just like really, really loved about it. But anyway, back on to the Christmas Staycation. Yeah, I forget what started this.
The Christmas Staycation walked so Love at First Bite could run.
Exactly. Because I remember like after Christmas Staycation, Jordan, you and I were talking like we just loved making Christmas Staycation so much, and all the COVID restrictions and quarantine rules were starting to get lifted. So we were like, let's do kind of what we just did with Christmas Staycation, but with like more of a budget. Because we were also doing like short films and stuff at the time too. Like we were just wanting to make stuff. And that kind of culminated to this idea of like making a slightly bigger budget movie. And Jordan, I remember you were like you came to me to direct it because you were like busy with a lot of other like writing projects at the time. And like I said, we were like always we were already like kind of collaborating on a lot of projects anyway. That just felt like the natural next step for all of us to take.
Yeah, yeah. I think you directed an episode of Romantically Hopeless.
Pets in the park are total chick magnets.
Okay, I trust you.
Awesome, let's do this. Phil, you get my pet rat Bitey.
You have a pet rat named Bitey?
Yeah, everybody loves a good rat.
And we did Wrigley Friends together. And then I think another thing too. And I think what the episode that Romantically Hopeless that David directed, I think Marissa, you were in it, or at least you were on set.
Yes.
Marissa was a jogger. She was like an extra because like David Pinion, the main guy in all those. I gotta rewatch those shorts because they're just so fun. But David Pinion's like trying to like hit on girls in the park, and he has a pet rat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And and like there's these joggers going by, and Marissa was one of them. And
Hey, you want to pet my rat?
No, I don't want to meet your rat.
and David's like, "You want to like pet my rat or something like that?" It was a fun day.
Yeah.
That was also where that's kind of how Kyle got on board with our projects too, because that was the first time he DP'd for me. And yeah, like after he got on board with that, like that whole shoot went so smoothly that he just seemed like the natural first choice for like a DP for Love at First Bite.
Yeah.
But this is all just a great example of people who are so willing to just have fun and participate in short films or just experimental projects are the ones that you want to bring on for when you are doing a feature. You are going to go to those people who were just ready to play before, and then they're in your Rolodex for the next when you have a big opportunity for them.
And we never knew we never knew that the end game of it was going to be Love at First Bite. We were just like making stuff just for the sake of making stuff. I think that's a really important thing for like people listening to this to learn, is that like you don't necessarily need to have a specific goal in mind. You just have to want to do stuff, and know other people who want to do stuff, and just like Marissa said, just play. Because I think you can kind of shoot yourself in the foot if you focus too much of your efforts on like something specific they want to do, because maybe like the collaborations you're doing aren't leaning towards that, and maybe it's leaning like this direction, but you're trying to go this direction, and you're just stunting all the growth that's going the way that everything else is going.
Yeah, we had in a different movie I was making with a separate production team around this time. I'd invited an actor to be a part of it, and he was like, "No, with my manager or whatever, we're only doing X amount, X tier size projects right now." I'm like, okay, respectable. But that person didn't book anything for years, and they could have been a part of another movie I made that got to market. So, and people have their boundaries of like what kind of projects they can take or not, but sometimes you just gotta go play.
Yeah.
And for the record, when we were writing Love at First Bite, I at that point didn't think we'd ever produce it. I thought we were just having fun writing together because we were still on lockdown. You had it as a pilot, invited Ian and I to write together to turn it into a feature.
Yep.
And I thought we were just kikiing. I thought we were just like an excuse to hang out with friends over Zoom because none of us were doing anything. And then before I knew it, we were on set, and I'm like, wait, what? I thought we were just writing this.
Yeah, how many drafts of the script did you guys do? Because I was like, I came on board early on, but I know you guys were like off writing stuff, and like I didn't see, like I saw the script in 2019 was a pilot, and then the next time I saw it was like when we were all together. You guys like had a draft, and we were doing like a semi-official table read of it. So like, how many did you guys do? A lot of drafts between that and that read we did back at whatever we had that read at that bar with we had like mimosas, and we just did like that funny table read.
I want to say we had at least 7 because we did 4 table reads. I remember online. No, were they online or in person? We did 4 table reads, and then that one at the bar I think was just us, so it wasn't like a table with everybody. So I want to say at least 7 different drafts.
But once it hit the feature length, I think it was mostly revisions at that point. It's not like there was major changes in that. I think we would build out some C stories or, you know, do joke passes and revisions. But I think once the full feature was locked, like the whole story was broke. It was.
Yeah. Wait, two real quick points. I want just to help other people out who are listening who want to make a feature. I think one point is make shorts before you make a feature, because you learn your team, you learn who you want to work with, who like you might not want to work with. But I think because we did shorts before, which kind of built to Christmas Staycation, which was our first feature. And Marisa too, like with Christmas Staycations, to go back with that, like I think I did at least 4 or 5 different drafts of that movie. And I remember we did a table read, I think the first time or second time, and I initially had 4 siblings, and Marissa was one of the siblings. But I was getting confused myself with keeping track of all these siblings. So I was like, I got to kill one of these characters. And it was like, it wasn't you, it was like your character. I was like, I got to kill the youngest sibling or something. So I cut, but it worked out better because I cut that character, and the storylines made way more sense. It was way more simple. And then instead I was like, Marissa should play Cousin Skeekso.
I just wanted to invite you to the Gloomgardy Zoom party.
Party? Will there be a keg?
Well, it's whatever you have at home is what you have on Zoom.
So will there be a keg?
Do you have a keg at home?
I wish.
Then no, there will not be a keg.
Will there be hard liquor?
Do you have hard liquor at home?
No.
Then no hard liquor.
So will there be any drugs?
Okay, you clearly don't get how this party works.
No. I get it. So what kind of drugs will there be?
And I think Skeekso is like the most well-known and favorite character of all Christmas Staycation. Like,
it's so much fun with Skeekso.
Yeah. Everyone loves Skeeks. And then you also played Aunt Linda too, so you get to play 2 characters. But I think Cousin Skeekso is like the most memorable. Or like, yeah, at least my favorite, and like I think a bunch of people favorite. So that all worked out. And then Marissa too, like one of the things too, you made a poster one day, like you sent me a poster for Christmas Staycation. You're like, hey, what do you think of this poster? And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So, and I think and when you did that and you played 2 characters, and me, you and Ian were up at the same night with Deadline Junkies. The reason I asked you and Ian was because, like, you know, during the pandemic, like mental health was just like awful. And this is gonna be so much more fun to write with other people than like by myself, because everything I wrote in 2020 until Christmas Staycation, I did not like. It just wasn't funny as usual. Like it was off the par for me. But Christmas Staycation was good. Then pandemic was ending, and I asked you and Ian. And then David, I have experience working with you for multiple projects. So yeah, it was just kind of like building that team, and then that team snowballed into more and more people who just kept joining us. And I think I always, in the back of my mind, I was like, we could film this at Julia's house. If we ask her, I think Julia will say yes. And she did. So
well, that's a good point to write towards. I mean, and start with shorts. I've a couple of things to like back up on. Starting with shorts, because during 2020, I shot a short for my apartment in October of 2020, and it was a horror. I actually, at that point, speaking to mental health, I never thought I would write comedy again or do comedy again at that point, because I was just struggling. So I did a horror short to, you know, catharsis. But in doing that short, and I had even like done features at this point, but with producing teams. And so this was a short I did myself. And even just wrangling data and knowing like, oh, you can't just have 1 hard drive with your data. You at least have to have 2, because if one of your files gets corrupted, you lose everything. And even just recording stuff for, I think it ended up being about 10 minutes long. That's still a lot of data. And then you still have to you still need a script, you still need a call sheet, you still need your shot list, you still have data wrangling, then you still have sound effects. Like you do every single step that a feature would do. But if you hit a wall or a challenge, it's a lot easier to fix on a short than it is on a full feature. The stakes are a lot lower, and then so there's a lot more grace for learning along the way doing a short.
I think I was going to add to that, like, I mean, yeah, just making shorts too, like you learn along the way. You learn what you're good at. You learn, like, I think for me, I don't really love directing or producing. I direct a lot of things I do in Buffalo now because I know they're gonna get made and they'll get made on time. And I'm really good with deadlines. But writing gives me energy. I think directing takes away energy from me. I don't, David, is that the same? David, do you get energy from directing, or do you, because you're a
Yeah.
director?
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's funny, like you saying that. I had like the opposite reaction, to this project. I hadn't directed anything since college, and I kind of like swore it off because I just like wanted to get better at writing. But then as soon as I started directing for Love at First Flight, I mean, like it was like my favorite 2 weeks of living in LA. Like I loved it so much. So yeah, that was kind of like this rediscovery of myself that I just actually love directing. I wouldn't have like if this project hadn't happened, I wouldn't have discovered that. So yeah, I think this project really helped me with that in a lot of ways.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I think Marissa too. I think when Christmas Day case, again, Cousin Cisco, and Aunt Linda. Aunt Linda is such a good character too. Even if we never see her face. I love that there's a game that we never see Aunt Linda's face. We just see her ear or other body parts.
Who is this?
Alice.
Alice. Oh, is this my favorite lesbian niece?
No, that would be Charlotte.
Oh.
This is your favorite straight niece.
Oh, I don't have one of those.
That's what I was going to say about Skeekso, and I think Staycation as a whole that translated into the process with Love at First Bite was in shooting Skeekso, I had so much fun. I made that like Boston Market or Bust sign.
Boston Market or Bust.
I'm on a mission for that chicken.
Get that chicken, Skeekso.
Going for that rotisserie. It's gonna be in my belly. Oh.
Then like I put my own little joke in there, or the whole family. There's a lot of Boston Market themes, and so one day I like went to Boston Market and like ate it for the first time and just really had fun doing it. And I think that's why it shines, or like why people enjoy Skeekso and Linda so much, is because I had fun doing them. And then so on Love at First Bite, it was such a fun shoot, and that's what it just like shows through. Even if it's like a serious scene, you can always tell in a comedy film if the crew and the cast are having fun, it's going to shine through.
Yeah.
That was what I noticed the most on Love at First Bite was like, even when we had our hard moments and our hard days, we just really had a big workload. Like even if we were like stressed about it, at no point was I ever like not having fun. Even in like the hardest moments of the shoot, it was just that sense of like fun was always prevalent in like everything. Which again, like we were saying, I think it really like shows on screen, especially for a comedy. Because it'd be one thing like if you're having a comedy movie, you want to be having fun doing it. Otherwise, it just kind of feels artificial, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's where you get a lot of credit as the director too. Is I've been on movies where if like the director's losing their cool or the director's getting frustrated, then it's gonna trickle down. Even if like everyone else was having fun. If the director's not happy, nobody's happy. And you just kept such an even keel the whole time.
Yeah, I'm glad that came across because yeah, like it's when you're directing, at least for me, like it's hard to like self-analyze myself and say like, all right, am I putting on a good face for everyone? Like I'm so in it that I'm not like at the end of a day of a shoot, I'm like, I hope like I was having a fun time, but I hope my face conveyed that I was having a fun time. But no, that's good to hear you guys say that I seemed even keeled because that's what I was hoping people thought I felt.
Yeah, I think sometimes like fake it till you make it, even like if you're getting frustrated on set, you don't want to like lash out or make it seem obvious. You want to just like be cool about it.
Yeah.
So everything is chill and it's looks easy, even though it might not be.
Yeah. But like everyone was doing their job so well and everyone else was so clearly having a fun time that it was like it felt like it was impossible to not be enjoying myself because at no point did I feel like I was alone or I was like an island trying to like keep all these moving pieces together. Like everyone was like moving things right along, and there were times where it just felt like I just had to make sure everyone was doing their job and happy doing their job. So in that way, it really just it never felt like I know I was the director, but it never felt like I was alone trying to make this thing with like everyone against me or something like that,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no one was, and I think going back to like, so we got the three of us, me, David, or sorry, me, Marissa, and Ian, and then David was directing. We kind of knew that, and then we asked Julia for her house if we could, film there, and she said yes. And then let's talk about how we got more people. A lot of people were DJs we already knew, and I think at that point we knew Marissa was going to play Scarlet. Well, it was Fiona was the name of the character at the time. Then we changed it to Scarlet. And then Beverly we saw at Tuesday DJs, and then she came to other ones too, like Wednesday and Monday too. And with Tony was a friend of mine. Jamil we also knew from DJs. Pretty much, I mean, like 80% of the movie is friends of ours who are actors.
Yeah, I think when we were making the credit roll, I think there was like maybe 3 to 4 people that I didn't know personally, either from DJs or a friend, or maybe they were DJs, they were just on like a Monday night instead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So we asked Julia if we could film for these 2 weeks. And she said yes. We kind of planned it all out. I think I want to talk about like how the script has changed or how the film changes. And we also brought Woodrow on board too. And Woodrow like brought the production value up so much. And then was Ian's character Dewey? Yeah, he was. He was in there. I think Dewey became way bigger though.
6 o'clock. I haven't missed it.
As the movie went on, like I think Dewey was a smaller character at first in the script, but we had so much fun with Dewey that he definitely became more of a main character.
that actually that was a post-production or like a editing rewrite or and when we were after like the assembly cuts, yeah, he was just resonating so much and brought such specific Ian comedy.
This would be such a perfect wedding for us.
That like we need more of him, and so that was a lot of the rewrites in pickups was building out Dewey's storyline that wasn't in a lot of the original scripts.
Yeah. I think that's a good lesson for people to know too. Like, so we shot for 2 weeks principal photography. We saw an assembly cut of the movie, and we all kind of agreed like we wanted a bigger opening, and we needed to film more time because I think the first cut was like 75 minutes or so. I don't know. It was shorter than we wanted it to be. So we needed to write more. And I remember sitting with a meeting between I think all 5 of us. And Woodrow was like, we need to add something to like add another storyline somehow. And we knew I want to talk about the dad's death. That's what I want to get to pretty much. It's like we knew the brothers we knew the dad was dead because he was in the video, but we were like, can we somehow get more of the dad? And I remember I was joking, but then it became like an actual thing that happened. I was like, well, we could just like show the dad in heaven and he could be making like remarks about the wedding the whole time.
You are a man of faith, all up in someone else's moisturizer. Shame sprinkles.
And it was like, I thought it was a bad idea, but it became like a good idea.
Do you remember how we tested that? We like wrote some jokes or like comments that he would like interject. I think you wrote like a page of one-liners, and I recorded with like the iPhone like avatar. I like made myself a black man. I wasn't doing like blackface or black voice. I just needed like the pacing. So like read the lines. And so we had this like cartoon version that we kind of plugged into the cut to see if it would work timing wise.
Yeah.
So I found it recently on my hard drive, this like whole edit where I'm reading Steve's lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny in like principal photography where like I remember with like the dad's video, I was just the dad. Like or like I would do the dad for the actors to react to. So I was just like hiding behind the couch and like they'd just be like watching the TV and I'd be like pretending like I'm like their age and I'm just like pretending to be like their dad.
Well, and that's actually the casting for Steve is Thomas Green, and he was my improv teacher at college 16 years prior.
Wow.
So it's like you never know, 10, 15 years in the future, what connection's gonna like come up.
Yeah.
What seeds get planted.
As well. Like Tony with Jordan, because you guys went back a little ways. But
known
like I
Tony.
had never met him before, and it's just like one of those like connections that, like you were saying, Marissa, like they met a long time ago, and like haven't. I don't think you guys had worked on stuff with each other for a long time. But then next thing you know, we like needed someone that fit Tony's type, and yeah, there he was, like ready to go. And him and Green were both like stepped up and like were perfect, like literally perfect for the parts immediately.
Yeah. Tony, when I first moved to LA, Tony was one of my first friends because I went to this coffee shop. It was like a local coffee shop in North Hollywood. It's no longer there. It's been they're gone for a while. But he was a regular and I was a regular, and we would always talk to the baristas. And we had this thing called Sunday night dinner where all of us would have Sunday night. It was like 10 regulars and 2 baristas would have Sunday night dinner at Tony's apartment usually. And everyone would make something, or Lindsay was someone who worked there, would cook something. And every Sunday we would just like eat and drink and have fun. And we did that for like 3 years. Like pretty much every Sunday, it was always an open invitation. So if you couldn't make it, you just went back to the next week. But I would just hang out with Tony like pretty much almost every Sunday or every other Sunday for like 3 years. And then I moved to Hollywood. I didn't really see Tony as much, but whenever I went to North Hollywood, I would bump into him a lot. And
A trademark of Tony, a trademark.
yeah, he's always hanging out in North Hollywood. So. And he lived like right near you too. I remember like when you two first met, I was like, let's meet at this bar, and it was like halfway between both where you lived. And then yeah, we brought the script, or at least like some scenes, and we had him read as we all, I think we just like drank a few beers, had him read, and we're like, oh yeah, this works. And he was funny, and he was delivering them pretty well. And then yeah, we brought him on board. And then yeah, and then we just made it. And then we did principal photography. I just want to go through like all the steps of like how it changed and how it morphed. So like we all agree we needed an opening scene. So we had to write the restaurant scene, which is like the first like 7 minutes of the movie.
Sweetheart, first off, she's got us eating these hipster biscuits.
Okay, so this is a coaster.
We wrote that after we shot most of the movie, right? And we filmed it maybe like a year later or something. Like 6 months later. At a restaurant that also doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's everywhere we go. Is that why you are so adamant about drinking coffee at that local coffee shop, Jordan? Is that you don't want to like lose another coffee shop on your?
Or you do want to shut them down. You have another track record.
I'm not gonna film there. Actually, I am filming there. And like,
if I give him a free coffee, then just anyone born on leap day can come in today and get a free coffee.
So what's wrong with that? I mean, how many other people are born on leap day? There's probably, 6 other people in the whole city of Buffalo born on leap day, and they're not all coming here. Okay, I'm just trying to make my boyfriend's birthday special, you leap day hating dweeb.
Abby, it's just coffee.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Only one scene though. It's only one scene.
Look out, Buffalo coffee shop. Jordan's coming for you.
No, they're good. But yeah,
But again, using resources that you have to write your content around. Like you wrote Love at First Bite with in the back of your head, knowing that you could use Julia's house, which has a big backyard.
Yeah.
You always had that cooking in the back. Ian had a connection to the restaurant. So we like wrote this scene in a restaurant. It didn't have to be in a restaurant. We could have done a lot of other things, but we wrote towards what resources we had. And I think
I'm
that
always surprised how like almost like always those like resources work out. Like I get way more like way more yeses than nos when it comes to like specifically with locations. It always seems like a daunting thing to like try and find places to let you film there because you feel like you're like inconveniencing them, which I'm sure that's the case for a lot of establishments. But like if you have an in with a place, or if you know someone who works there, or if you used to work there, because Ian used to work at that restaurant where we shot at, and it was just like one text message or one phone call, and like they were like, yeah, we had to pay them a little bit, but like it was like they were totally willing to let us go there, and very accommodating to us too.
Sometimes it just is about the ask, and Jordan's always really good about the ask. Where I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to bug people, but you're like, no, we have to ask, like, and it's so true. Like let them say no, but at least it's not going to be a yes unless you ask.
Yeah, Jordan, you're asks are like your superpower, because I think that's like, I don't think any of this would have happened if you weren't so good at asking people if they wanted to do stuff. I mean, you asked me if I wanted to direct, and I was like, yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that. And like, yeah.
I think the last, like kind of the biggest lesson, I think, yeah, use what you have, use what you know. But in terms of asking, I think like in Buffalo, I'm filming a bunch of stuff in Buffalo next week. And I think in terms of asking, just go there and show the script. Like I'm shooting a short next week and I need like 5 different restaurants, but they're only for like 20 minutes or half an hour every time I go there and film there. And I just last week, Thursday, or 2 weeks ago, whatever. I went to every single one. I printed out 5 different copies of the script, and I was like, "Hey, can we film this one scene?" I kind of highlighted what I wanted to film, and I pretty much got a yes from all of them. But it's because I went there in person, talked, and usually people are down, like they're especially in LA. Yeah, you do have to pay money, but in Buffalo, they're like, "Yeah, film here for free." I'm filming at a plant store, and the owner wants to be in it.
We could give him a free birthday plant.
You can? There's finally.
We could, but we just ran out of free birthday plants.
That's okay.
I could give you a leaf from the floor.
Oh, no, I don't need a floor leaf, but thank you.
Like sometimes I went to this bar and the bartender wants to be in it. Like sometimes they want an actor to play the employee, but sometimes they're just like, yeah, can I be in it? And you can film here and just let them know, can I, film here for free? And as long as it's not a time where they're really busy, they usually say yes. And Sundays, I think Sundays in general are really good with that because Sundays people are just more chill. Restaurants are not as busy because no one really goes to restaurants on Sundays and Mondays. But yeah, I think in terms of asking, like face to face is always better than a phone call. Phone calls are always better than an email. Emails are always better than not asking at all. So, but just go face it. And Julia, we've known forever. So it was like, I think I sent her an email, but I think it's because we've already been to her house multiple times at this point. So
yeah, and like, and you had a similar experience with like, actors as well, specifically like background actors. Because I remember like that was another impressive thing on set was like you just like, I think everyone kind of did this to some extent, but you especially, Jordan, you just had this ability to like just ask actors on like the day of or the day before if they wanted to come and just be like, because we needed like extras to be like wedding guests, etc., like on certain days of filming. And I just remember like you were like, oh yeah, I've got a couple people coming, and then like fast forward an hour later, it's like all these people who like came because like you asked them to, which always impressed me because I'm terrible at asking people if they want to do stuff. I feel like I feel like they don't want me to like ask them to do these things, but you just like brought these people along and they were like in like a wedding suit or like a wedding dress, like dressed up for it and like
formal wear in August in Woodland Hills.
Oh yeah, like
yeah. I mean, I think in terms of that, like just tell them they're getting IMDb credit. People love getting IMDb credit.
Well, it's to give value back too, not just to like rob them of time, whether they're being volunteered or paid or whatever the ask is, but also find ways to give them value back. As writers, it could be like, I'll help you with coverage on a script, or like you can help a friend on their film project next time. Or IMDb credit is huge, like, but giving value back, even if it's not, even if you are like a small indie filmmaker doing your first short and it can't be financial, there's other ways to give value to people. Exposure to a restaurant,
Yeah. And I think the bigger the project, the more appealing it'll be, especially to actors. Because you ask someone if they want to be in a short film, like they'll probably help you. But if you like, as soon as you say the word feature, like you can just see actors' eyes like light up when they're like, oh, a feature. Like that's like all of a sudden you're in a new weight class. Then it feels like once you're doing that. So I think it gets easier to ask people like the bigger the project is.
I remember once in talking about asks, I was like, you can get one big ask out of anybody. And Jordan's like, I think you can get at least 2.
It's the most Jordan statement.
I know. And then like, there you go. Hold on.
I think the worst thing that can happen is people say no. And often sometimes people say no, they suggest someone else.
Right. Yeah.
Like I think in terms of like you just said, like other actors coming, that happened because I asked one actress who was like, I can't make it this Sunday, but do you need more people? And I was like, yes, actually we do. And she's like, let me text a bunch of people right now. So a lot of those actors who actually showed up that one day, I didn't even know them, but they were like a friend of a friend. And And we needed them to because it was the wedding day. I think we need people to be at the wedding. So yeah, it's always worth it just asking, because like the worst that can happen is saying no, and who cares? Then you move on, ask someone else.
I think that really speaks to just the the whole idea of having like a network of people, like us having Deadline Junkies, just like making these projects like in a group of a lot of other creative people, because the more people you work with, the more people you just collaborate with and talk and like socialize with about these creative projects, the easier it is to pull these teams together. Because I remember that was one of the biggest, one of my biggest concerns being like the first feature I ever directed was like, I don't think I have like, I don't think I have the resources or like the people or the manpower to get this made. And then like I would just like go down the list of like things I needed. I was like, okay, well I need a DP. Oh, okay, well, my friend Kyle, he could do that. Asked him, check, we got a DP, or we need a sound person. Well, we know someone with like some sound gear, and like they are excited to do. Okay, got a sound person, and then like fast forward to like 20 people later, it's like, oh, okay, I did have all these resources, but I just never thought about it before, because all these people were just like friends of mine who like I've worked with on stuff, or they've shared their projects with me, and then like next thing you know, once you just kind of like put something like this, like a movie like this, into out there, all of a sudden like all these people just start like collecting around it, and next thing you know, you have it's just like it's such a weird process, where you don't think you have what you need, but then more often than not, you kind of do. You just have to find the right people and ask the right questions.
I think when you do ask, again, having that script ready, I think is key. And if you have the script ready, you have the log line ready, because a lot of times I'll ask, and if I can see like there may be on their face, like if I say it's a comedy, they're like, what kind of comedy? But if I explain to them like what it's about, then like if they're laughing and they go, oh yeah, I want to be in that. Like Love at First Spite, I think I told people like it's about, this bougie bride and groom who are getting married on the front yard of the groom's family's house. And on the day of the wedding, the groom and his brother, who's the best man, watch a video from their dead dad, and the dead dad says whoever gets married first can have the house.
To build the life of your financial dreams, your mother and I have agreed that the first of you to get married, we would help you out as much as we can. So we are gifting you, Chaz or Milton, your childhood home to help you and your partner build your new life together.
No. And the best man decides to marry the maid of honor, who's the sister of the bride in the backyard. And it's a war of weddings. And when you explain that to people, that wasn't a great job what I just did. That was like an okay job, but but when I explain that to people, like they're like, oh, that sounds really fun. Like I want to watch that and I want to be in it. And I know like next week I'm filming something in Buffalo. I went to all these restaurants, and the thing I'm filming, I told them it's about like it's an Aaron and Abby adventure, and it's about this new couple. And Abby finds out that Aaron's birthday is leap day, and he hates it because like he can't do anything on non-leap years.
It is the unluckiest birthday ever. Nothing good ever happens on my birthday.
And Abby decides like, well, on February 28th, I'm going to take you to get you all your birthday freebies.
It's my boyfriend's birthday, so we'd like to get him the free birthday lobster.
Oh, well, if I could just see a form of ID just to make sure it's your birthday.
What if he was born on leap day?
Oh, no problem. In that case, lobster is full price.
You just said no problem.
Yes, it's no problem for us because we make money.
So she takes him to all these places, and they just say no every single time because it's not his actual birthday.
Sorry, we don't serve leaplings.
Because February 29th. And so when I explain this to like the plant shop and the restaurant, they're like, oh, that sounds fun. I get to deny someone a free beer.
How old are you turning?
I'm turning 8.5.
So you'd have to actually be old enough to drink, so I can't serve you.
No, he was born on leap day, but we're trying to celebrate his birthday today.
Yeah, so it's the 28th. Since he was born on the 29th, we wouldn't be able to serve him, but since his actual birthday.
Please? I mean, I know he's only 8.5, but he has the body of a man in his 30s.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just can't. You can try again in 70 years when you turn 21.
Or I get to deny someone a free plant or whatever. It's very short. I'm like, I only need it for 20. It's 4 lines or less. All these places say yes to that because they realize it's like a cute, romantic comedy. We're not filming some, war scene or something.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to destroy the restaurant. So I think, but if you go, I think going there with the script when you ask shows you're a professional. and shows you're serious about it. Because if you just go in there and you're kind of winging it, and you don't have a script ready, like they know like, oh, this could be hours and hours, and like I'll be waiting here until my restaurant closes or whatever. But if you go in there and be like, hey, I have a script ready, it should take like half an hour, whatever. And they see the script, and you actually sometimes I'll give them the script and then I'll ask, but I'm like, you don't have to tell me right now. I'll come back a week from now. And I think if you go there the same day of the week, you're talking to the same people and they remember you. So if I go on Thursday and ask, I'll be like, look at the script. Here's the script. Take it. I'll come back next Thursday and confirm if it's a yes or no. And I did the same. I just did this last week where I went on Thursday, came back the next Thursday, and they're like, yeah. And the owner wants to be in it. And I was like, okay, cool. So, so yeah, I think having and highlighting the part that you want to film wherever helps a lot.
Well, like they like the idea, but I think even more importantly than that is that they like you and that they know that you know what you're doing because you've got the script, you got like you can talk about it competently, but you also just you know what you're doing and you're not going to waste their time. I think that's like the big fear of a lot of people in this situation is that they just don't. Because nothing's worse than like someone coming with like a crew and like they don't know what they're doing. They're just like making a mess and it's just like not even no professionalism to it. But if you just come and it's like, yeah, that script, that like hard copy of a script and just knowing what you're doing is like so important for business owners, especially because that's like most of their job is being professional about things. So they don't want to like, they don't want to invite just some like film students who don't know what they're doing just to come and just waste their time.
Logistically, it gives them opportunity because say there's a couple examples. Say if there was like a special effects thing, like I did some shoot where there was just like a mini smoke machine. It's like, oh, well, we can't have smoke machines on this property, or like we don't want this paint explosion happening. Like, so whatever happens in this scene they'll feel safer with it if there's not those kind of things. And maybe this was also more of an LA thing, but a lot of places wanted to make sure it wasn't adult content you were filming at their place. So when you have the script, it shows like, oh no, this is a cheerful rom-com style. Like it gives them that much more security and about the project.
Yeah.
I think especially when you give them the script and they read it and they see the jokes, they agree yes or not if it's funny. I mean, comedy is subjective, but if they're thinking it's funny, then like, yeah, I want to promote this. I want to be in this. Either if it's a feature or a short, they get excited about it. If you give them the script, give them a hard copy. Yeah, definitely go in there more professional. But yeah, let's go back to Spite. Where were we? So we got Julia's house. Woodrow came on board too.
Yes, added a lot of value.
Yeah.
Like you said, production value. Which that's actually one reason we rewrote the first scene or added to the front of the movie is because those first 10 minutes you have to have if you have any celebrity names or if you have like big locations, like those first 10 minutes are critical to get people to watch the rest of the movie. So you have to front load those first 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I think that's why we rewrote it because I think what we have
more bang.
Fantastic. Like I'm not ruining the movie, but like that, you know, when the dad dies, that was like so like jaw dropping and also like exciting, and it was exciting, but also it was I like that it was a comedy because he didn't just die and then not be a character. He died and then he was still a character.
Yeah. It just set up the tone for the movie where there's like a little bit of the silliness, but family ensemble, there's going to be a joke every 5 seconds or more. Just
as soon as there's a guy in heaven eating pocket meat out of a Ziploc bag, it's pretty clear what the tone of this movie is going to be.
At least got my pocket meat.
Yeah, and that added value to it too, because I think the restaurant already looked phenomenal, but then you go to heaven, and then you have the shot of the house.
Feel real good, make it feel so sad.
And then we see the house. So it was
good, big establishing shot.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes definitely like catches you, and then we don't even get to the conflict till like maybe 12 minutes in, 15 minutes in, or at least like the conflict of like who's it like
that inciting incident moment of the house.
Congratulations, Chaz.
I got the best mom and dead dad in the entire world.
He gets the house.
Oh, come on, Milton. Be supportive of your brother.
Just because he's getting married?
Yeah.
But
It's
around
like-
the 10-minute mark is about right for that. I'd
Yeah.
say.
I think 10 minutes in, they watch the video, maybe.
Yeah. It's funny because like the movie just feels structurally better. It feels so much structurally better with that beginning restaurant scene that it's hard to imagine we ever had a version without that restaurant scene, which I think is a good sign to have like a pickup day be so essential that it's like hard to imagine the movie without it.
Well, and the truth is that kind of stuff is going to happen with every movie. Have you guys ever heard the expression like there's the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and the movie you edit? So like you do kind of have like 3 different iterations of it at least. And that's true for any movie at any scale. So again, helpful to learn on short films because you will be like, oh, if I only did this, and a lot more easy to reshoot and edit for a short than a feature.
And it also helps to like in any of those 3 departments, like it takes a lot of like pressure off of like I know for me is like with like the writer side of me that takes a lot of pressure off of me because I feel like my pages have to be absolutely perfect or they can never go into production. I can never shoot them. But then to like see this movie in particular, like from start to finish, it's like, oh yeah, like so much changes that like like the cliche saying like fix it in post, but I know that can be a little bit of a cop out, but it really is like just because something isn't working right now doesn't mean it can't be fixed later on, or like maybe if you can't like if you can't figure out a way to fix something now, maybe that's just like a sign that it's something that needs to be done in post or something that needs to be like an actor on the day of can fix something. Because I know I can't think of any specific examples at the top of my head, but I know there were moments where like there was like a line I wasn't quite sure about, but then as soon as like we're on set that day and as soon as an actor said that line, I was like, oh yeah, like I just never heard the line delivered like that, and it works perfectly this way. So I think that's a good example of like putting your faith in like other, knowing that it's like it's not just you, other people are putting their talents into the project too. So if you can't fix a problem, maybe like this actor could, or maybe like the sound person could, or maybe the editor could.
Yeah, so sorry, stepping on you.
No, that was the end of my thought.
Yeah, trusting those other departments. I think it specifically for writing, you think all of the storytelling has to be like dialogue or on the page, but the truth is costuming can tell a story. If like I think in Breaking Bad is such a great example of like if Jesse Pinkman is wearing red and black, like he's using drugs, but if he's not wearing those colors, he's clean. And that's never a dialogue thing or an exposition thing. Color's telling the story. So the writing is kind of like an outline of a drawing, and then all these other departments come and like add details and add color and add background. And I think as a writer, you have to trust that process and trust the filmmakers to get those other parts colored in.
Yeah, it's scary because like a lot of things are up in the air, but like it's also kind of exciting because you know that it's like becoming something more than like what you initially created, which is kind of the exciting thing about making a movie of this scale. It becomes like a group thing, not just you, which I really like about it.
Yeah, filmmaking is a team sport.
Yeah.
I would say in terms of writing too, like know when the script is cooked. Because I don't know if you guys remember this, but I know we did 4 table reads with actors. So there was, besides table reads just us, we did 4 other ones. And we would always like test out different jokes every table read. And I think the first one went good, the second one went really good, and the third one was like amazing. And then the fourth one, we were like, well, let's just swap out some jokes and with the other ones. And I think me, Marisa and Ian, all put like different jokes. And the fourth one was not as funny as the third one. And the third one, we were like, all right, that's the good draft. Let's keep the jokes from the third one. And all these new ones, forget about. And that's it again, like, and that was the script we went into. And even though we did add things later on after the movie had an assembly cut, the third draft did have the best jokes. And I want to talk really quick too how writing, and I'm going back and forth, but writing with a partner, having writing partners, I think a really good system that me, Marissa, and Ian had was we would just trade the script like every 2 days. Like Marissa had it for like these 2 days, and Ian had it, and then I had it. And then did we have like a system where like we had to write 5 pages or something? Or did we just kind of
Like, I think we broke this, like sort of outlined the story together, just kind of like a list of scenes. And then we kind of were like, okay, scene 12, 13, 14, or like, we kind of just like every 3 scenes we like would start with and then kind of pass on.
Yeah. I remember, yeah, and I remember, yeah, I had like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had like scenes 2, 5. I totally forgot about that.
Well, and I think why that ended up working so well is because of like the B, C, and D stories. Like, say if it was like a story arc I kind of painted in, then it kind of worked rhythmically, where in the movie every 3 scenes was a Carlene.
Al Killer's barbecue. We grill, you two. That's what we do.
Cousin Carlene, you made it.
Yeah, and it's a lucky thing too, because it seems that my invitation to Kate's wedding got lost.
It just kind of organically happened, like in the way
Also,
that we did that.
it helped because like with 3 writers, there was like never any like ties between like which joke we liked best because there's 3 of you, so there's always like a 2-to-1 ratio of like whenever we had to like vote on what was like the funniest beat or what was like the version of a scene that makes the most sense. Which I think especially for comedy, like I don't know what you guys' experience was like, but from where I was watching as the director, like it made decisions so much easier knowing that there's 3 of you and there's like 3 options, not 2, where it's always just like one writer against the other with like yeah, I don't know, always a tiebreaker, it felt like. Even on set when we were like coming up with jokes, it was just like like if like 2 or 3 of you guys were all in consensus about a joke, then I would like seriously consider like adding it into the scene while we were filming it.
Yeah. That's a Ron Howard thing too. He's like working teams of odd numbers. So that way, like there is that vote that can off balance. And I think it works really well too with the 5 of us producing, because we always meet on Zoom and sometimes we have to vote on things and 3 of us would beat the other 2. We didn't really have too many debates, but I think there was never us like clashing heads, because it was always like, okay, 3 of us are voting this one. This is the thing we're gonna do.
Yeah, we never it never felt or like personal against like whether something worked or not. Like we've been saying, that's like story first. Like the story has to be clear and make sense no matter what. And then in Love at First Bite, it was then comedy second. Like story first, then jokes, whatever is funnier, whatever makes us laugh harder. There's sometimes where I'm like, oh, that's a Jordan joke or that's an Ian joke. But for the most part, like I couldn't remember at this point, like who wrote what joke, or it just like we kind of got that tone of the movie. And so I think in general, we were all on the same page for like what kind of jokes we liked.
Yeah. There's some jokes I don't remember at all. And I remember there's some jokes too I like that I had tons of fun because I love riffing on set.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but some of the jokes we wrote on set are some of my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a moment where Tony has, or he's like talking about Beverly's Chaz and Kate. He's talking about Kate. And I remember just like riffing all these things he could say that like show that like why he loves Kate, but also why like Kate gets on his nerves.
Kate doesn't deserve what happened to her today. Y'all know she's a lot sometimes. I know she talks when the game is on, talks more when it goes off. Always stealing the covers from me in the winter, cuddling super hard with me in the summer.
Yeah.
Talks when the game's on, talks more when it's off. That was I think that was a Tony improv.
No, that was me. That was me.
Oh, that was you? Nice. Yeah.
Because Tony came in, I think he had like 5 minutes before he had to go outside, and he was like, "What can I say before this?" And I was like, "Well, you could say this. You could say, the blanket thing with the sun, like,
cuddling super hard in the summer." Yeah.
And there was like a bunch. There was like 10 of them. I think I just came up with on the fly. But those are the 2 that worked the best, I think. And then we walked out there, and Tony had them ready. That was great.
That's true for like all of our actors were so game for anything we threw at them too. Like have to give them credit for that. Like the ridiculous things we would make Milton do.
Yeah.
It's just like it would always be game.
Hmm.
It just shows that they trusted us as filmmakers too.
Yeah.
Who
It's
was it?
definitely like a mutual for me. It felt like a mutual they they trusted us, and because they trusted us, I felt like I could trust them, or like they believed in our project. So I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, like it was like they encouraged us, so like we encouraged them back. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just kind of this. Can we do this? Yeah, we can do this. Kind of like back and forth between us. I remember like one of my favorite moments is like talking to Tony right before we shot a scene. He was like, "Man, this is one of the bigger." It was like halfway through the principal photography, and it was one of the bigger scenes. And he was like, "Yeah, this looks good. This is like a real movie we're making." I'm like, "I know. It's like pretty." And we're both just sitting there like, "Yeah, this is like pretty cool for what we're doing."
It's so funny, even like from the premiere, people being like, "Oh, this is like a real movie." Like,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
yeah, the real script,
Amazon.
real
yeah. Tricked you.
cameras, real
Gotcha.
actors. It's been a real movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Tubi now too, and Roku, and a bunch of other streaming services. Yeah, yeah. How many? So we did so principal photography was I think it's a good lesson for people to know too. Principal photography was 2 weeks, and then we shot the restaurant scene. That was like a whole day, right?
We basically had then another full week of pickups.
Okay, that was my other question.
So I want to say like 21 full days of shooting, and then
Okay.
maybe some like miscellaneous pickups with like Dewey. Like Dewey on the scooter was probably like a half day, or some of his diary stuff or things like that. And then some ADR days too.
Yeah. And you were so good, Marissa, with like little detail stuff. Like I think people love the drawings.
Chef's reckoning.
I could tell Dewey or Ian did not write Dewey's dialogue.
Yeah.
Well, the dialogue or in the diary?
No, diary. Sorry, the diary.
Those, I think some of that we did right. Especially whenever he has a voiceover, whenever he's saying it, we wrote it.
But I mean, like in the handwriting itself, though, in the diary.
That was a font. That was like a whole process. I like went ham for like 3 or 4 days, and like so I didn't handwrite all of that, but I used techniques that made it all look real.
Definitely, yeah. Ian definitely didn't do any of the writing himself, because I remember there was like at least one take where he had to like draw like a heart around like a photo in the book, and that was like the most stressful moment of shooting with that book, because like he would like come in, he'd start drawing, and like you'd see his hand like come up, and he's like starts like doing this like squiggly line of heart. We're like, oh gosh, Ian, please. We only have like 3 copies of this page to like get one.
Well, and that was something, yeah, saw the diary stuff was something that came up during the editing. Like that was never originally in the script.
No.
And so that book, Ian had just found this book lying around at Julia's that he was holding in when he's officiating the first wedding.
That is unworthy of her magnificence and brilliance.
Just as a random book. And that's what I copied to make it look like his diary later.
Which is a funny joke in and of itself, because you just assume it's like a Bible or like a book of hymns or something, but it's actually his like, weird creepo diary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess if we're talking about details, will most audience members pick up on that? Like, no, but some do. Like during the premiere, during like the after party, one of the attendees was like who caught things like that, who caught on to details like that. So those things do matter. Another example of that is and there's a line, and it's kind of at the bottom, like the end of a scene, kind of a button where Chaz says he wants a drum set on his registry. And then in the Uber, the present that they bring is an inflatable drum set.
Woo! I can't wait for this wedding.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is a callback that I didn't even realize.
And that's an example. That was like props department, coming in with like an extra joke. Like that wasn't necessarily written in, I don't think. But just finding like in a comedy specifically, like all of those moments where you can paint in an extra joke.
Well, and that there's even another joke attached to that because the first scene in the Uber car, we established that the Uber driver might be like because one of the cousin McMoodle forgets his gift, and the Uber driver acts like he's like scoring off of like getting like random things that people forgot to like take out of the car.
Oh, hey, you guys forgot your giant gift.
Score.
So he's like kind of like capitalizing on it. So like the fact that it's like in the next scene we see the drum set, which calls back to the joke about Tony wanting a drum set, but it also calls back to the Uber driver like opening up a present that's not even his because they left it in his car. So it's like there's two jokes coming out of the same prop essentially. So
yeah.
It's a great job, Marisa. That was good.
Well, those are all, you can't get to those details until you have a good foundation either. I think, writers early on or early in production, you want to start doing those fun sprinkles. But you have to have a good foundation to get to those sprinkles. And then go nuts with the sprinkles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I guess, is there any other lessons you guys want to, I think one thing too is like the film never is shot in order ever, unless you're like, but I think we added so many more things after we did assembly. We shot the first scene. That was like one of the last things we shot. All the heaven stuff was one of the last things we shot.
What fun.
The Uber stuff.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is?
The Uber stuff wasn't even in the scripts. Like the first, that was new stuff too, right? Yeah. Dewey's stuff we added as well. But yeah, and then the five of us did post-production pretty much. We would meet on Zoom.
You have to keep the momentum going. A lot of movies will get shot and then die in post because it is kind of a longer process. People lose their enthusiasm. People get busy with other projects. And so keeping up with like meetings, whether there's like news to discuss or not, but keeping the momentum going, finding out areas you can get ahead is important for filmmakers to remember. Because getting it shot, getting it in the can is one thing, getting it to the finish line takes a whole other, like the roller coaster feels over, but it's not.
No, there's so many still tracks to build. Like I think filming it is that first like hill, but you still have all those smaller hills you have to do.
Yeah, actual production is the shortest window of production.
Yeah.
And people get the most excited about it. So you have to find a way to stay excited to the finish line.
Yeah, but we did a fantastic job.
I'd say so.
It's super funny. I've had several family members and friends like watch it again. So not just like watched it once, they watched it. I had one friend specifically who I had a Buffalo premiere, and he came to the Buffalo premiere and he told me this afterwards. He's like, yeah, man, I came to premiere kind of like begrudgingly. And I told my wife, was like, are you going to go? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. I don't know how it's going to be, but blah, blah, blah. And then he saw the movie. He's like, wow, this is really good. He's like, I went back to my wife and like when I got back home and I was telling her how impressed I was. And then he's like, now I'm telling all my friends to go see this movie. Because he's like, you never know. A friend tells you they made a film, you don't know if it's good or bad. But he's like, and then I had another friend tell me like this is this place in Buffalo called the Screening Room, where they play movies, like do premieres and stuff. And my one other friend was like, this is the best movie I've seen at the Screening Room. It's like, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
I didn't know that. That's great to hear. I think the reason people like this movie so much is because we never really, I mean, we worked hard, but we never took it so seriously that we stunted ourselves from having fun doing it. And I think that's what makes this movie fun. And I think that's why people can connect to it, because it's not just like one vision that one of you guys have tried to kind of like force down the pipeline of production to like make it your vision from the very beginning. It's a lot of people's fun ideas thrown into one project. So I wouldn't be afraid to, like, for filmmakers to just have fun doing it and never like lose sight of that. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, because some of the mistakes might not be mistakes.
Yeah. Sometimes they pay off for the character. I think one of my favorite quotes is "Don't let perfect be the enemy of good," because I think also too, like, the script, I always knew was good. I always knew the script was good. I love the script, but like it was never, if I said, "Oh, the script is perfect, don't change anything," then like that would restrict so much, and I would have been wrong.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect script.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
such thing as a perfect script, and it's always subjective, and like we never would have had the new scenes and stuff. So I think, but if you're aiming for good and you're not aiming for perfect, it like opens up your mind and allows you to have more fun. And yeah, sometimes accidents become happy accidents, and they become. I love sometimes too when I have a table read and an actor will like flub a line because I wrote too many letters in a word or something. Or I really use like a fancy word that like they don't know. I love when they say the fancy word wrong, and I'm like, oh, that's funny the way they said it. Like, I'm trying to like my wife and I have a chair, and I call it the pamplemousse chair because I don't know what it's actually called. It's like pampa something, but I'm like the pamplemousse. That's not a great example, but you guys.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Just
yeah.
not being so high on your own supply that you don't let other people on your playground have any fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So, and I think we had so much fun with this. And I think the actors brought so much, even more than we thought they would bring to set. They brought like either certain tones or the way they said like certain, especially deliveries, certain jokes. They all shine in different ways. So yeah, I think, yeah, don't aim for perfect. Any other lessons you want to?
Food is important on set.
Oh.
Make sure your actors are fed.
Yeah.
Which we did the whole time. We didn't learn from failure in that category. We failed. I remember we learned because we did it correctly, is what I'm trying to say. We fed our actors.
Yeah. So if it's your first time filmmaking, like, yeah, have some food for your crew or your cast and crew.
Yeah, just remember that like people are here, like this is like your passion, but like for some people this might just be like a day on a job for them, and that's fine, but like yeah, like give them food, make them comfortable. Like it's just because we're all excited doesn't mean we're not all humans who need to like use the bathroom and stay hydrated, just like make people comfortable and accommodate to them. Because it's very nice of them to help you on your project, and you should reciprocate that by treating them kindly and treating them with respect.
Some food was more expensive, some food was not expensive at all. We also found ways to like be budget friendly. Like we got a little, I know Woodrow had a good idea with the Gatorade packet things you put inside water to keep people. That was really good.
Ice pops. I remember Marisa brought us ice pops one time in the middle of the day, and it was like one of the best moments of the whole shoot was those ice pops. Just a little thing like that made a world of difference because that was a long day and it was a hot day.
What's the way of making your budget go is like, say you have Crafty, which has just all the snacks out on the table, but leave some of the sweets for after lunch. If you put it all out at the beginning of the day, you can't grow. So like have some little surprises coming. That can still be in your original budget, but just like, oh, there's chocolate chips at the chocolate chip cookies at the Crafty. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Like an easy way to boost morale.
Yeah.
Like
just
pizza at the end of the day really isn't that much, but even if you don't have to give them a second meal, like pizza at the end of the day can bring the morale up so much, and morale is huge.
Yeah. If everyone's having fun on set, then the movie will turn out fun as well. So yeah, awesome. All right, cool. Anything else before? Because I think that was a good hour.
That was a good, yeah. It's so much fun talking about this after like it's out. Because for the longest time, like every time we talked about it, it was like, all right, like what's on the docket to do with this
like
project?
solving problems and to-do lists.
Right, yeah. There's no thing we have to like achieve by the end of our discussion. It's just like enjoy it, which is a really nice feeling.
Yeah. And it's playing now, so everyone listening, it's playing on Amazon right now, Roku channel, Tubi, where else? Zumu or something?
Zuno, I think is how you pronounce it. I've literally like never heard of it before. It's like a new streaming service invented just for our movie or something. I don't know.
First to market.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Google Love at First Bite. I'll put links in the description as well. And yeah, I think, I'll see you hopefully both at the Chinese theater where the movie will be playing in like
Yeah.
or so. That'll be awesome. And we'll have people from LA, come and see it. But yeah, thank you both for doing this, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Yeah.
Should we just like yell "Love at First Bite" at the count of 3 to end it? Nope. Ready?
I'm losing my voice, so I'll just say it at a regular voice.
We'll say it as monotone and chill as we can.
Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Love at First Bite.
If you enjoyed this conversation and want to hear more interviews and screenwriting discussions like this, definitely subscribe to the channel and the Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting podcast. And if you're serious about writing scripts, making movies, and actually finishing your projects, check out the Screenwriting Success Club. We built an awesome community of screenwriters and filmmakers with group meetings, screenwriting courses, networking, accountability, and a really supportive group of creatives. The link is in the description. If you want to support our filmmaking journey, check out our feature film, Love at First Bite, now streaming commercial-free on Amazon, and also on Tubi, Roku, and other streaming platforms. Thanks so much for watching, and keep writing.